Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, and also sponsored by Paul Fisher with Certainty Home Lending, Bethany Rowan with the B. Rowan Realty Group, Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage, Tracy Churchman with Best Buddies, Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers,
Ethan Donovan with the Donovan Creative Agency, and by Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach.
The Community Difference Frisco was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Frisco starts now.
Well, good afternoon, Frisco. Welcome to the Community Difference Frisco. We are a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I'm your host, Brian Poduska, and if you've seen the show before, you know what we're about. But if you haven't, we are a community-based podcast, as the name suggests. That means we're bringing on community leaders, anywhere from 5 different types of folks. That would be business leaders, entrepreneurs in the area here, Frisco ISD leadership, community leaders, meaning politicians, board members, that sort of thing, nonprofit leadership, and of course, sports leadership, since we are Sports City USA here in Frisco. You are watching episode number 44 of the Community Difference. We have rotating co-hosts every week here on this show, and we have a business topic which rotates every month. The business topic of October is brand relevance, the overlooked piece to effective branding. So we will jump into that topic here a little bit later in the show. But as I mentioned, we have rotating co-hosts. They are business owners here locally. Lennon, why don't you bring on Miss Jax Crider first and say hello to her. Hi, Jax.
Hey, how are you?
I am fantastic. It's great to see you again, twice in 1 week.
I know. Well, and also twice in 1 month on the show this time.
That's true. Yes, we've had a little bit of shuffling of the deck here, and we get to see you twice. The audience gets to see you twice, so that's awesome. Why don't you remind the audience who you are and also introduce your guests, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. So I am Jax Crider. I run PBJ Mortgage, where we are making mortgage simple. A simple is making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just trying to demystify the process. And I am super excited to have Christina on. She runs, I believe it's called Global, and I don't want to get it wrong, Global Women's Empire. And basically they have local chapters. They've got McKinney Babes in Business. They've got Plano Babes in Business. And then most recently, Frisco Babes in Business. And so they're supporting women entrepreneurs in their journey through business, which is so great and so fun. And I'm so excited to have her as a guest today.
Well, let's say hello to Christina. There she is. Hi, Christina. How are you today?
I am good. How are you guys?
Hey, fantastic. Excited to have you on the show. Excited to learn more about this Babes in Business concept. What are you most excited to expand into Frisco? Why Frisco?
Oh my goodness. Well, Frisco has always been one of those communities that we just love the local restaurants, the local feel, and all of the community events that they do. So, why not just go support all those small local business owners, our women owners, but also we support the local coffee shops, lunches, restaurants, bars. So we're excited to be able to expand that and support.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing your story and how you came about building that business. So we will get into that a little bit later, but excited to have you on the show. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's bring in our other co-host of the week, Miss Debbie Watson. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you again. And the audience gets to see you multiple times this month, too. You are on mute, just by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. You know how that we are live. And then when you hear the dogs in the background, you put yourself on mute. So Well, I am Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers, where I'm passionate about fostering financial literacy through education and comprehensive solutions. So our goal is to help you to take charge of your finance so that you can have an impactful, meaning, and financial future. So I am so excited today. I have a dear friend that I just met when Judy and her husband moved from California recently. She had a very successful real estate brokerage out there, which actually she still has. But her and her husband moved to Texas in 2023, where she also obtained her license. But she has used a very unique branding, which, since we're talking about that, this is very relevant today, because she started a Facebook group called the Sisterhoods of Little Elm, which is just a adjacent city to Frisco. And so she's built a community there. We have monthly lunches. And so she has been able to grow a network with social media. So I'm so excited to learn more about Judy and for all of you guys to meet her. So if we could bring on Judy.
Hi, Judy. Great to have you on the show today. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Well, and I guess a little bit of a delayed welcome to Texas.
Hey, better late than never.
Right. We'd like to hear.
I do want to make a correction about my brokerage in California. It's not, I don't own the brokerage. I'm with a brokerage, although I have my broker's license. So there is a difference between having a broker's license and a salesperson's license. I have a broker's license. I'm sure Jax knows all about this. She's in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah, so the brokerage I'm with, I did not own that one, but I've been there with them for, now 4 years. Yeah.
Well, we'll try to keep that clear with the Texas Real Estate Commission here in
There you go.
which I am also a licensed realtor, so I get all the intricacies of that. So thanks for clarifying that. What are you most excited to get out of the show today?
Well, first of all, I'm so excited to learn about all of you guys. Debbie and I have gotten to know each other already, but Jax, you're in the mortgage industry. We're in the same industry. So I'd love to meet you in person one day. And then Christina, you're like the babes in business. We're all babes in business. So this is very exciting. And of course, Brian, you're in the industry too, property management, and us real estate agents always have property management, to refer out. So that's what I would love to get out of this, is to get to know you guys just as much as you guys get to know me.
That's an awesome answer, because that's exactly what we do here on the show. We all get to know each other. It's a form of online networking, as well as sharing your story with the audience and diving into a business topic. So it's a lot of things rolled into one. We have a great time with it. So we're excited to have you guys on the show today to do all of that. So great answer. What we're going to do right now, though, is take a quick commercial break, give our sponsors some love. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about what's going on in Frisco. So Lennon, take us away. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Paul Fisher with Certainty Home Lending, Bethany Ralwin with the Beer Ralwin Realty Group, Tracy Churchman with Best Buddies, Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers, Ethan Donovan with the Donovan Creative Agency, and by Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Frisco?
You heard it right there. What's up, Frisco? What's going on in Frisco this week is what we're going to talk about. Not necessarily this week. It could be in the coming weeks, but something that you need to know about that's going on right here in Frisco. And we're not talking about the major publicized events, although some of those will be discussed. We're talking about maybe some networking events, some job hirings, some local community events. We're going to talk about an HOA get together on today's show. So something that isn't necessarily hitting the news that you need to know about here in Frisco. So that's what this section is all about. Hi, Miss Kelly. Good to see you tuning in. Thanks for saying hello there. So let's start with Jax on this one. Why don't you tell us what's up Frisco?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we highlight. So I don't know how many of you guys are aware, but here at the Community Difference, we do this amazing thing called the Business Development Alliance. And so if you are local to our area, we do this every second Tuesday every month at 5 o'clock. We do it at Blue Mesa right there, kind of on the edge of Frisco and Plano. This is an amazing opportunity to meet other people as well as grow your business. We are going over Lyndon's amazing book. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, you absolutely should. There it is. He is already a bestseller. It's actually at 69, 65 or something like that. So he's way up the charts. So it's a great opportunity as a local business owner for you to make some connections and learn some stuff to level up your business. So I highly recommend you come out.
Awesome. Thank you for telling the audience about that, reminding them about that, because hopefully we see several folks from the audience attending that. It can do nothing but help your business, and it's a dual networking / learning opportunity. So you come for the first hour, you learn. We go through the things that are in the book, learn about business development and the business development ecosystem. And then secondly, the second hour, we get to talk to each other and learn what each other do over beverages or whatever. So come on out to that. Do you have anything else for What's Up Frisco, Jax?
I do not. I know that Debbie and you have a bunch of things, so I will let you guys get to them.
I don't know if that's just me. As Debbie briefly mentioned, we are a live show, so sometimes we do have technical freeze-ups that happened to me a couple weeks ago. Ironically, when Jax was on the show, I don't know if it's
bad karma there. What?
I know. Sorry about that, y'all.
No, that's okay. So, all right. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jax. Debbie, I'm going to kick it over to you next.
Okay, great. So as you might know, this month, the Kaleidoscope Park opened up in Frisco. If you have not been out to this park, it is just gorgeous. And they're starting to have things all through the weekend. So actually this weekend at 10 o'clock in the morning, they're having a pet paw parade. So bring out your pets in their costumes. They're going to be giving a contest. And then if you say, okay, I don't have any pets, but you like orchestra, the Plano Symphony Orchestra will be there that night from 7 to 8:30 for a free concert in the park. Actually, the musicians are going to be dressed up in costumes, so they're encouraging everyone in the crowd to dress up, and they're going to also have a contest. So it should be a beautiful, beautiful night. And like I said, it's a beautiful, beautiful park. So you should go check that out. It's a brand new opening in Frisco. And then just a short over, just right around the corner this weekend. Little Elm is just adjacent to Frisco, and they are having a huge, huge drone show and fireworks. So you'll probably be able to see it even if you are in Frisco. So that is going to be huge, spectacular. They're expecting over 2,000 people. They'll have a pumpkin dropping that's filled with candy for the kids from the fire trucks. A vendor, actually, we are one of the vendors. We'll be out there. So that's from 6:30 to 9:30. So it should be an amazing set. It's going to even be bigger than our 4th of July that are over Lake Lewisville right there on the beach at Little Elm. So come out and join us. We'd love to see you. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. Christina, I believe you had something that you wanted to share as well.
I do. I am so super excited. So 2 weeks ago, Frisco Babes in Business opened, and that is underneath our Global Women's Empire. We technically have 7 cities, but Frisco is booming and very fast. So all women business owners can join us, and it's every Monday. Starting the beginning of the month, on the first week, we do coffee meetups at a local place. So we bring our money back into our communities of local owners. And then the second and third week is going to be luncheons. And then the fourth is a happy hour. And so we want all women business owners to come, and we are all about empowering, helping each other. And we believe in collaboration over competition. So we don't hold seats. We don't do none of that. We're all about really making a difference in each other's lives in the community. So it's packed. Right now we do have opportunities for founding members to join Frisco.
Love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. Look forward to seeing some of the ladies in Frisco support that effort. That's awesome, and look forward to hearing more about it. All right, Judy, I believe you have something as well.
Yeah, there's an event that I would like to highlight. It's not in Frisco, it's in Little Elm, but it's close enough. And I believe this is the second annual Veterans Banquet on November 14th. I've already purchased tickets for me and my husband. I think Debbie did.
We're going to. Yeah, we're going to.
And it's only $25 per person. It's from 6 to 9:30 at Notting Hill Place, and it is a formal event. So either I have to pull a formal dress out that's been collecting dust or go buy a new one, whichever I'm in the mood for to do it. But I believe in supporting our veterans as many times as we can, as much as we can. I'm not a veteran myself, but my father-in-law, he was in the Navy. I have two brother-in-laws who were also military. And half my clients in San Diego are veterans or military or active duty. So I am very huge on supporting our veterans. And I mean, you can't beat $25 per person and you get a full-on dinner and be in a room full of our heroes.
Aw.
That is awesome. Love hearing that. Yeah, what a value that is. That's fantastic. And just because it's in Little Elm doesn't mean that we can't support it here in Frisco. As you mentioned, we are kind of sister brother cities. And we will be launching a Little Elm show, a Little Elm Community Difference show here in the coming months. So excited about that as well. There is a lot of overlap there. So if you're watching this show, certainly once we launch the Little Elm show, please do tune into that as well. All right, I think I got you guys. Lennon, go ahead and throw up the items that I was going to talk about. I'll talk about them as they come in order. First one is Tom Cotter, who has been on America's Got Talent, is coming right here to downtown Frisco at the NAC Theater. That's going to be November 16th. He's got two shows, 7:30 and 9 p.m. It is an 18-plus crowd, so please note that as you're purchasing your tickets, or bring your earmuffs if you don't like bad languages or adult topics. Also coming up at NAC Theater, it's Midnight at the Masquerade, November 2nd. Honky Tonk Night, November 9th. Ladies' Night is November 14th. And Evening of Embers is November 15th. These are all in the evening at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. Go to nactheater.com to check out those events. Awesome things to do in downtown Frisco. Again, we've talked about this before in the past. The need to support those downtown businesses is now more than ever, given the construction that's going on down there. And there is plenty of parking, especially right around NAC Theater. So just note that as you're thinking about what to do on the weekends. Next up, you see there on the screen, it's called The Mix. All right. So this was recently approved, not in this week's city council meeting, but the previous one. I'm going to share it through the end of October because it's exciting news. People know the Hole by the Toll, formerly known as Wade Park, affectionately known as the Hole by the Toll, or Frisco's largest swimming pool. There's several other fun little monikers for it, but The Mix is a newly approved multi-use 112-acre project. It's $3 billion worth of investment going on there, and the approval method of that, the incentives that are being offered by the city, is very unique, and it's performance-based. So it's very different than the previous structure of Wade Park development that went through several iterations, a couple of different bankruptcies of developers. This one will be different. You didn't hear it here first, but you're hearing it here again.
I was going to say, I'm just happy that it's not going to be the Hole by the Toll anymore.
That's right. This one will be different. So we'll provide updates as we go along throughout next year, but exciting news there. We've shared this as well. This is the Frisco ISD Incubator Program. Think of this as Shark Tank for high school students. Any high school student who's interested in being an entrepreneur, they have this program at 5 of the 13 different Frisco highs. They need volunteers. Miss Ashley Sign right there. Her information is there, phone number and email address. If you are a local business owner, entrepreneur, or an adult who's been in the business world, understands how business works and how to launch either services or products, they can use your help at any one of those 5 Frisco ISD locations that have that program. Super unique and super awesome. And it's a great opportunity for our Frisco students here. What else we got, Landon? The Hills of Kingwood neighborhood market. So This is going on November 17th. One of our listeners and a friend of mine sent in this information as she's part of this neighborhood. They are looking for vendors. Debbie, I know you were looking at getting into this. I'm not sure where that stands, but it's an opportunity, right? So if you are a local business owner or a vendor who sells products, they're looking for you to come in, no charge, I believe. It's just come in. You need to get approved by the HOA, but basically you come in, you set up a tent, and you can share your business or sell your products to that neighborhood during that neighborhood event. Do we have anything else? I think trunk or treat we still have to talk about at Collin College, if we have that one. There it is. Sweet. October 26th, so this Saturday, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Collin College on the Frisco campus. It's free. Come on out. Dress up your car. Dress up your kids. There's going to be a costume contest, all of that. I know the whole staff is dressing up this week, I believe, in preparation for that. I spoke to the director over at that campus, and she said they have an 80s theme. So I may just show up on campus to check. I'm going to
Wear your clothes from the 80s, Brian? Like what's
go deep in my closet, and I'm sure I could find some parachute pants or some old yeah.
All that stuff is coming back, y'all.
Yes, indeed, for sure.
I love it. I love it.
I did not.
Do I have anything else that I was going to share screen-wise? I don't think I do. I think that might be it. What I did want to mention before we get off of what's going on in Frisco, recently approved at this week's city council meeting, they officially approved the go forward on materials purchase for the downtown Frisco garage. So we've heard all along that parking is a problem in downtown Frisco. There's no question about that. It's even more challenging with all the construction going on, but there is hope in sight. We are about to move forward with the downtown Frisco parking garage. It's going to be a multi-level structure. I don't know what the capacity is. I'm sure I could find that for future shows, but it's going to alleviate a lot of the parking problems downtown as we get that project moved forward. So wanted to mention that as well because it's fresh out of city council this week. All right. I think that puts a bow on What's Up Frisco. That was a lot. I think we are right on time here, maybe a minute over. So with that, let's cut to commercial. On the other side of the commercial break, we're going to dive into the business topic of the month, which again is brand relevance, the overlooked piece to effective branding. Look forward to that conversation. We'll hit it here shortly.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
We are Cloud Staff, enabling remarkable growth for businesses everywhere with our pioneering enterprise-grade remote work solutions. We are on a mission to help business owners scale while reducing costs by matching you with an amazing staff, mobilizing your team, and helping manage business performance, making us the #1 workplace as remote work gets done. Connect with us to access the world's top talent and discover how we can enable remarkable growth for your business.
And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back. So this is a segment where we're going to dive into the business topic of the month. We're talking about brand relevance, the overlooked piece to effective branding here in October. It's always fun getting to the last month, or last week of the month, I should say, because we've heard a lot of insights and heard a lot of different perspectives throughout the month. So I always like adding on to that and hearing from new folks, and we'll see if we reiterate a few of the ones that have been shared before. But we've talked about connecting with our consumers or customers, whether it be a service or a product. We've talked about some of the major brands who are good at doing that, some of the ones who have failed at doing that. We've talked about AI and how that's been part of our evolving experience when it comes to branding and how we can utilize that, to better brand ourselves or brand whatever service that we're offering. We've talked about local relevance. So we've hit on a lot of these points, and I'd love to hear your guys' perspective. So Jax, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick it over to you. If you want to start, just start the conversation with a question, and we'll kind of roll from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is technically my third time since I'm on the Plano show as well, to discuss this. And I think every time we've had some really great questions. And I think for me, one of the things I don't feel like we really touched on maybe is the empathy piece and how really understanding the subconscious of your customers goes into branding. So I'd love to hear from others what their thought process is on how empathy can change or reflect your brand, how it can adjust, and like understanding what your customer is really thinking and their fears and how it goes into your branding.
Okay, well, I'll take this one. It seems fitting, considering the women, because we're all women. I think that makes a difference on, empathy and understanding of how we communicate. So one of the things that I noticed a lot when all of us started gathering together was we were sharing our stories. I mean, it wasn't, the branding piece goes into that, but it's kind of started before that with the relationship part of it that brings that emotional attachment to that person, and telling your story to them, whether it's personal or your business story, and building that relationship deeply. And then you can move from that standpoint, from my experiences in business. And I've been in business a long time. So, seeing those relationships transpire, it makes a big difference, and being intentional with it.
Well, I think, Judy, I think I'm sure you have a lot because of the economics that we're in. Real estate has been so crazy with the uprise. It's the same in the financial world, all the fears of, do I invest? Do I not? All those stuff. And so if you do not help your client and understand that, then you're not going to be as relevant as you would. So what are some of your thoughts that you've had to kind of help some of your clients during this kind of crazy world right now that we're in when it comes to the financial side and the biggest financial item they'll ever purchase in their life,
Yes, since we're on the topic of empathy, in my business, empathy is huge, and you have to have empathy because everybody has a different reason of why they're either selling or buying. Some people are first-time home buyers. It's a brand new thing for them. Like Debbie said, for most of us, it's the biggest investment we'll ever make. So you've got to talk about finances, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of first-time home buyers because they don't have a lot of money. I mean, some do, but many don't. So when you're talking about the down payment and what they need to come up with, and they don't have it, sometimes they're embarrassed. Sometimes they don't want to be transparent. That's when I bring in a person like Jax, my lender, and we do this as partners. And so that's the empathy part of it, is just understanding and not judging anybody for any position they're in. Sellers, they could be going through a divorce. You got to empathize with that. I've been through a divorce. I understand what that means. Single mothers go through a whole bunch. I raised my 2 kids as single mothers. So anytime I have a client that has gone through or is going through something that I may personally have experiences in, that helps me relate to them so easily. I have clients that I've never gone through what they're currently going through, but you can always sympathize with them. And it is a very important piece of our, at least the industry that I'm in. And yes, economics is huge. We have to follow economics on a daily basis. I mean, by all means, I'm not an economist, but I have to have the basics. And I'm pretty sure Jax probably knows more than I do when it comes to all the economics part of it. She has to know more than I do because that's, interest rates and all of that. Yeah, that's everything, the empathy, the relevance, it's so important to the industry that I'm in.
So my question for y'all is, are y'all when you sort of promote your brand, or how are you tying it back together? Like, I know specifically for me, when we created PBJ Mortgage, like that brand, the whole idea is because we had so many customers whose greatest fear was talking to us because they were afraid we were going to tell them no. Like, your credit sucks, you suck, like, you know what I mean? Like, we were going to have these conversations, which is not true. Like, we don't feel that way at all, but that is what they felt. And so we created PBJ Mortgage with the idea of kind of like this playful sandwich idea, making mortgage simple as a peanut butter jelly sandwich to connect with that empathy. Do you feel like y'all's brands are resonating like with that empathy piece? Or do you feel like there's other brands that, do a really good job of that?
I mean, for me personally, and I don't want to like dominate the conversation. For me personally, I always tell people, if you think you're ready, great. If you don't think you're ready, great. But it starts with having a conversation with me. I used to be a lender back in the heydays when Countrywide was still around. So I know how to do DPIs, and the lending industry is forever always changing guidelines. So I can't say that I'm a specialist like Jax is, but I know the basics of it. So I always say, whether you're ready or whether you're not, let's start off with a conversation. And if we find that you don't qualify now, me and my lender, we will help you with a plan so that whether it takes 6 months, a year, or 2 years, we'll get you there. And that's my brand is, don't worry about what you think. Let me worry about that, and we'll plan this out together.
I love that. I love a few things that you said there, Judy, when you were talking about relationships, right? And relational, you can relate to your client. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. When you were talking about relating to your client, right? Especially when it comes down to a service that you're providing. As I look across our screen here, we are all service-based businesses. It's a little less relevant, I guess, when you're talking about a product, but being relational versus being transactional, we talk about that all the time here on the show. And I think that really ties in nicely with what Jax was talking about with the empathy piece, right? Real estate can be very, Jack, I love your brand. Like, I love what you're getting at there with the simplification and kind of the, just making people a little bit more at ease with a good old fashioned PBJ, right? I love that. It's creative, and that's hard to do in the real estate industry because it is a fairly vanilla transaction. It can get exciting, but it's fairly vanilla. That's true in property management as well. So it's hard to convey that in a brand, but you can certainly do it through your interactions with your clients and doing things like what we're doing here, right? Getting who we are out there. So, if you're calling whatever, a property management company number that you see over the phone, that you can connect a personality to that service, right? You can connect an attitude or whatever, you can connect something bigger than just a brand because you're relating with your own personal branding. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because it tied in very nicely what we talk about all the time with being relational rather than transactional. So I'll let you guys continue the conversation, the questions. I just wanted to interject that.
Now, but I have a question. If we kind of even dive just a little bit on the other side of this too, and I think Christina, I think both of you would be very good at this because, for one, you've used social media too. So kind of, how do you embed yourself in the fabric of the community? So utilizing what you're doing How do you kind of utilize that? And so Christina, because you have the social media portion, and I know when Judy moved here from California, she started a group that's how we met. So how does that kind of come about, and what's your thought process of how that can benefit our community at the same time as building your brand?
Okay, I can answer this. It's a fun one for me because I'm a big lover of people and serving. And so there's 4 of us founders for the Global Women's Empire. So the thing is, when we started noticing all these individuals in the community that need that support and wanted to come together to give them that support for each other. But one of the coolest things I think about, every city we open, we support a local nonprofit. So this is our way, and we kind of take the underdog, if you will, because, there's a lot of nonprofits in every city. But just to give you a couple, we have like the Grand Love and Prosper. We're getting ours ready for Frisco. And all these nonprofits we give back to, but we highlight them on social media. We go to all their events. We invite the babes. We sell tickets for them. So we're bringing that community back. Plus, when we go to these local, like Frisco, we went to, I have to think, there's so many cities in my head right now. Sorry, I apologize. But we go and do a Google review for that community, like a coffee shop owned by a mom and pop, or lunch place. We do Google reviews. We do shout outs to them. We highlight them. And then the community gets to know what that business is in Frisco or McKinney or Allen or Fairview, where we are. So I think that branding, the way we're doing it organically, is intelligent. It works. Everybody wins. And that's the biggest thing. If you're winning, I'm winning, we're all winning. And so we tried to touch bases on that branding aspect, but do it in a way that's organic within the community to impact, and all of our businesses win from it. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, I'm so glad that you mentioned Grand Love. We actually just had one of their representatives at our Tuesday networking group that Brian and I are a part of, to share about it. And so we love the organization. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Judy?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I got so into what Christina was saying because I loved everything she was saying.
Well, I think the importance, I know that you came here from California and then got your Texas license, but you didn't know really anyone. So what was kind of the thought process behind starting Sisterhoods of Little Elm that's continuing to grow and build these relationships?
Well, and this is the God honest the truth. The reason I started Sisterhood of Little Elm was, number one, it wasn't for my business. It was because I wanted to make friends, genuinely just wanted to make friends. I don't know anybody here. I have my sister who's lived here for 20 plus years. But besides her, she has a full-time job as a nurse. Besides her, I didn't know a single soul. So I'm like, I need to meet some sisters. So I, developed the Sisterhood of Little Elm, and it's just been the greatest thing. And my business is secondary to finding my, your group, right? And if it comes out, if something happens organically out of that, great. But, and yes, that is building my SOI, my sphere of influence. But that's secondary to what my true meaning and reason for building that Facebook page was. And it's the women in our group have been nothing but just joyous. The theme of this group is you're not allowed to be negative. As long as you're not a negative person, we can all have problems, we can all vent, but you're not allowed to be negative, whether it's on a post or in a comment on somebody else's post.
No negative Nellies allowed. I like it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for not saying Debbie Downers like most people do. So thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Debbie doesn't appreciate the Debbie Downers.
Yeah. I don't know where that ever came from.
I think I'm safe saying negative Nellies because I don't think I know a Nelly. Well,
there you go.
If I just may insert one more thing, one of the another theme of that group is to support our local business people, whether it's a side hustle or their full-time job or business. I really do focus on supporting each other. So I'll give you an example. I'm not the biggest makeup person. I've never, ever put on Mary Kay, but we have a great Mary Kay gal, and you know who I'm talking about, Debbie.
Yep,
And
yep.
so because of her, I started buying Mary Kay products, and because I want to support the local women in our group. And I mean, and I just hope that everyone else has that mindset too. Bakers, the same thing. I only buy my bakery from the two bakers in my group.
I was gonna say, can I just say that I love that both Christina and Judy sort of basically supported their businesses, but their intention was not their business, right? Their intention was to bring community together, which I think in a weird way is like really what the community difference is all about, right? Like we're here trying to support our communities. Yes, we own small businesses. Obviously, Debbie, Brian, myself, we all have to make a living with our regular businesses, but we genuinely care about our communities, right? We want the local mom and pop coffee shop to succeed. We want,
Right.
you know, these people that we're interacting with to succeed, because if we don't do it on a community level, then we're not going to succeed as a society, right? We need these people in our community. And I think if 2020 taught us anything, it was that, right? That we need to step up and support each other.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where it even comes back to. All we are talking about is a community that we build. And again, what's the old saying? People want to do business with people that they like and trust. Well, if they can trust us because we're not coming at them, oh, I only want to talk to you because I want you to be my client. But no, I genuinely care for you. Well, then they might not ever do business with me, but they're more apt to refer me because they can see that I truly care about helping others, and it's not just a transactional thing. So again, I think that is what we have been learning, even in Lyndon's book and the things that we're learning with the community. It's just been a great asset. So
Love that. Well, hey guys, I'm looking at my clock here, and we've got another couple minutes left in this segment. Time for one more question or thought. And as I was going through that, I'm like, what's the question I want to ask? As we're approaching the end of the year, right? So we're in the quarter four here, looking at, now's the time of year where people are looking at, okay, what are my goals for next year? Reflecting on how I did this year, what are my goals for next year? From a branding perspective, what overlooked piece for branding might you implement next year? I'll throw that out to you guys. Whoever wants to answer can answer, and that's all four of you.
I got two really quick. It'll be real fast. I'm a business coach too. I have 3 companies, so this is just one baby. But listen, people's branding photos have got to be fixed. Like a mini session or a full branding session. That's the biggest thing I see in business owners. They need a branding photo shoot. And 2, social media management. If you're out there just posting away like a crazy posting maniac, you're probably not posting what you're needing for your business. So I suggest delegating and getting that for your brand to be done correctly on social media, along with those photos. Those are the 2 key components, in my opinion.
I like it. That's a good ad. And we have somebody right here on this program who can help with the social media piece, with the thoughtfulness and mindfulness of being intentional in your branding, not that scatter posting stuff that you're talking about, Christine. So thanks to Donovan, by the way, Donovan Creative Agency.
He's who I'm filling in for.
yes, he's my normal co-host, but I love Jax too. So
it's a good thing we all get along well here as co-hosts. So.
Now we do.
Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate your guys' insight on that topic this month. You certainly added to what I've learned in the previous 3 weeks. So thank you for your insights in that. What we're going to do now is share a little bit of love from our sponsors. We're going to come back on the other side. We're going to dive into Christina and Judy and learn more about them as business owners and people. So we'll be right back. Take us away, Landon.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Are you or someone you know pregnant or planning to conceive? Caitlin Smith is both a certified childbirth doula and instructor offering childbirth classes to couples wanting an unmedicated, physiological birth outside of the hospital setting. Caitlin has served the local community since 2021 and specializes in working closely with midwives, all while best supporting a mother's physical body, her partner, and the birth environment. You can contact Caitlin through Instagram at thismamadoula or email her at caitlinsmithdoula@gmail.com to learn more about childbirth classes or her doula services.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111.
Now back to the show.
Okay, welcome back. And we are entering a segment where we are going to learn about our guests. So one of my favorite segments of the show, because every week I get to meet new people, right? And I get to learn, more importantly, about your guys' journey, right? So this is where we just want to hear about your why, how you got here, what drove you, what inspires you, that sort of thing. So, Judy, I'm going to start with you, given the fact that you're new to Texas within the last year or so. Via California. So there's a lot of tales and rumors and things, sayings that come from folks like yourself. Don't Californicate my Texas or whatever they say, you know. But I heard you say I couldn't get here quick enough, which was awesome. I, like you, am a transplant. I came from the Chicago area. So I always love hearing stories about what drove you to come to Texas. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with the audience, you know, how you got here.
I will. And if I get long-winded, just give me that yellow card and then I'll know to shut up.
we'll get Lennon to rake out the buzzer. We
do have a buzzer. We haven't cracked that off in a while. So,
I know. Yes, we just want to know.
Lennon dusted it off quickly.
Well, let me do a second clarification about me. The second one is I actually grew up in Alaska. My husband is born and raised in Alaska. And I was 5 when my family went to Alaska from Korea. So I was born in Seoul, Korea. And my entire childhood is Alaska. And that's how my husband and I met. We've known each other since high school.
Wow.
So I always call Alaska my home. And then I went down to California after I graduated high school many moons ago. And, you know, yes, when we first got here in March of 2023, the first thing we did was change our license plates. We didn't want to.
Didn't want to incite any violence, you know,
yeah, and that was the advice we were given. And I wanted to put a sign on my car: "I'm not here to California, you're Texas."
Well, there are a lot of guns here, so you got to be careful with that.
And I'm not even going to get into politics at all. But what brought us here was my dad was diagnosed with cancer in late 2022, and he had lived here with my sister for the longest time, 14, 15 years. And then cancer nearly killed him, and he barely survived, and now he's doing good. He's in remission.
Oh, awesome.
But my sisters and I from California, we all flew out here just on an instant notice and ended up living with him in the hospital for a month. to take care of them. So he had 24/7 care along with the doctors and the nurses. And one of my sisters, the one that lives here, she is a nurse at the hospital he was at. So that's what brought us here. Because after he did his treatments, now fast forward January 2023, and we're hearing about all of his doctor's appointments, like the thousands he had to go to, every month. And my sister and brother-in-law, both working full-time, were doing everything. And so I told my husband, look, my parents have 6 kids. There needs to be more than one child helping him out. So my husband said, okay, tell me when, and I'll start putting my resumes in. And then about 2 weeks later, I said, when? And so he put his resume in, and he got hired at Parkland almost instantaneously. He's in compliance. And so there we have it. We're here. We ended up selling our house, and then we came here in March 2023. That is my why of why I ended up here. Prior to all of this, my why of why I ended up in real estate in the early 2000s was because I became a single mom, and I couldn't have this 9-to-5 job that I was very comfortable in because I knew that my salary would be capped. And I didn't have an ex-husband who was supportive. So I was the mom and dad, and I had to do everything I could to financially survive. And we all know how hard it is to financially survive in California. So then sales was not something that I ever thought I would get myself into. But at that time, I knew sales was probably the one area that would make me the money that I need to raise my children. So there you have it. That's how I got into real estate. But it wasn't immediately into real estate resale. I started off as a title rep. And then I went into, got into lending. I did both wholesale and retail for Countrywide. I don't
work there once upon a time.
You did. I was going to say, Jax, I don't know. You look too young to know Countrywide, but and you too.
I'm not as young as you think I am, baby.
And then after, a certain amount of years being in lending, at that time in California, you could also do real estate simultaneously. If you had your real estate license, you could do lending and real estate. So I did both for a few years until I just switched completely to residential real estate. So yeah, they're in a nutshell. That's me.
Well, you can't get much more of a compelling why than to support your family. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear your father's doing much better. So clearly your support was part of what, helped him along. So awesome story. One question for you in a couple sentences. What's the major difference in the real estate market between California and here in DFW?
Oh, that's easy. One, price point.
True.
Yeah, everybody and their brother is moving here.
Yes, price point is number one difference. And then 2, I would just say the culture and the process of it. There's a lot of similarities here in Texas and in California, but there are certain things that are very different. And so I still sell in San Diego, so I always have to put both hats on. If I'm talking to a Texas, remember the Texas way, and then if I'm talking to a California client, California way is just ingrained in my brain anyway. I don't really have to think. But yeah, those probably are the 2 main differences. Like in California, we don't have a thing called option money. There's no such thing as option money. Here, you have to pay to get your contingency periods. The right.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not. I do loans in other states, and it's not in many states. That's a kind of a unique thing to Texas, actually.
Yes. There's pros and cons. I'm not against it, or am I for it? I just go with the flow. But
yeah, it's just different.
Yes.
I've heard quite a few stories from California-based property managers, and it is a night and day difference between here and California when it comes to landlord rights and things like that. So we could save that for another show. Maybe just a conversation over coffee. Or something.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Not a landlord-friendly state, I'll tell you that.
All right. Well, thank you, Judy. That inspiring story there. I appreciate you sharing that with us and with the audience. Thank you so much. Christina, let's move over to you. You said you're involved in many different things. Let's hear about them. What drove you to start many different things?
Oh my goodness. This is a big one. So 14 years ago, I actually moved here from Oregon, and I ended up being in a position of being homeless. And I actually lived at the Samaritan Inn in McKinney And I was there for around 4 months or so, but I basically started from being a housewife and not knowing really anything in the world of business or even to be able to type, to be honest with you. No college background. And so I ended up homeless, and then I had my 2 boys, and I had to go out into the business world, you know? And so I started kind of in corporate America. I got hired. I was there for 7 years or so in McKinney. I learned a lot, and but then there was just like something missing. And I remember this specific day, I was sitting in my office. I was a chief operating officer. I worked my way all the way up, which I was like, man, you know, I really do have some talent here, you know, outside of being a mom and a wife at the time. So this little bird came, and I remember it like yesterday. It came on my windowsill by my office over the golf course. And I remember thinking, I should be out there with that little bird. Like, I have so many things I need to teach the world and I need to do, but I'm in this office and I'm stuck. And I felt like that whole, like, and then I lost my position. Like a few months later, it was dissolved. And so this whole thing kind of happened 7 years later after being homeless. I went into a 7 year of, oh my gosh. And I had 3 kids at this time, still single mom. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's starting all over. So that's kind of my background of my inspiration of where I came from. And then from there, I've been preneuing my whole life. And I've been preneuing up to the time that I lost my position by owning a McKinney Fit Body Boot Camp with my business partner for 10 years. We just sold last year. And so that was kind of like a whole nother world that I got to be in, inspiring, coaching people. I had this drive for business and serving and community. And so I started serving in every single nonprofit you can think of in McKinney and surrounding areas. Jax, you know me, and Steve Lester and some of us, we've been volunteering.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been doing that for 10 plus years together. And so I just dove right in to give back, because I knew what it was like to feel poor, broken, single mom, had nobody, knew nobody. And so I just started building these communities around me to give myself to feel like I had a family and love. And so from there, Fit Body, I developed this last 2 years. I have 3 companies. I have Jumpy Parties, DFW, with my business partner, and we do bounce houses and all the family fun stuff. Then I have Sky's the Limit. And that is where my heart goes, where I get to help people that like myself from the ground up with business and life. And then, of course, you all know the Global Women's Empire, that the 4 women and I came together, 2 of us being single moms, running multiple businesses and feeling very frazzled and unsupported. We needed to make a change. And 2 years ago, we came together and we made that change. And you know, here we are with 7 cities. Next year, we're going to be opening. We've been requested all over Texas because of the impact that we're making and really helping the underdog women, the single mom women, the women who've been abused, the women through sex trafficking. I mean, you name it, we have them, and we are letting them go. You know, so it's pretty powerful. If you look at the whole picture, and I even wrote a book just to sum it up. It's called From Homeless to Healed. And it's my personal journey of how you can be homeless, have nothing, and you can turn it all around into building who you were really meant to be.
Wow.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. We
What a story, huh?
yeah, no doubt about it. So we talk about bringing on awesome guests and awesome stories. It doesn't get much better than that. We started The Difference 5 years ago with the premise of the thing. I mean, it was called The Difference because it's the things that make the difference in business and life, right? So it wasn't just about business. It was about the things that make the difference in life as well. So what you're doing is 100%, 100% aligned with what we do here at The Difference and part of the community difference. So, wow, that's congratulations to you. That's fantastic. And, however we can help you continue that journey and share your story, that's what we're all about. So thank you, Christina. And thank you, Judy. Love hearing those stories. I'm getting a little emotional here. And when I hear these stories, it happens, right? So
yeah.
It's all the women in the room, Brian. You're
Brian
emotional,
is
all
surrounded
the
by
emotions.
ladies today.
your
Love it.
empathy is wearing off on me. That's right.
Tina, your story made me cry.
Oh my gosh.
Touching.
I do have that impact on others, and it's all for good, you know?
Yes.
Well, love hearing those stories, and thank you for sharing those stories. We're going to take a quick commercial break right here. We can gather our thoughts for the upcoming segment, which is What's the Difference? So we'll be right back with that.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right, welcome back. This is our What's the Difference segment. So I get to ask you guys a question. You get to answer it however you'd like. And this is always a fun one because I get to pick the question. You guys don't know it. I don't even know it until I pick a question. And I try to pick it based on who we have on the show and what we've talked about. So with that being said, the topic is relationship building. And given, the both of our guests, have women-based organizations that they've started from ground zero. The question to you guys and to the entire group is, what's the difference between transactional relationships and transformational relationships? So that's the question. Judy, I'm going to start with you.
Dun,
dun, dun.
Relationship, it's not very personal. It is very transactional. And I think both sides, sometimes they have a mutual understanding that it's just a transactional and it starts and ends there. But transformational is a little more personal. It may start off as a transactional, but it can always certainly end as a transformational, and you transform that relationship into what both of you and the other side is comfortable making it. It could just be an acquaintance level, or it can turn out to be a beautiful sisterhood or sister brotherhood if it's a male on the other side. It could be whatever you want it to be. But yeah, transactional is very black and white to me.
Yeah, love it. That's good. All right. Christina, how about you? Same question. What's the difference between transactional relationship and a transformational relationship?
Okay, I'm just going to be a little more specific with the transaction. I think I said that wrong. of a product or something, it's more along the lines of, hey, would you like to try my product? Or, hey, would you, on social media, sending a link back instead of like, hey, how are you doing? Or asking a question back. You're more or less just blurring out the product to the person. So I look at it like that in those social media aspects. Transformational is more, for me personally, it's like, how can I serve you? Is there something I can do for you? Asking questions like, hey, can I do a Google review for you after, I've used their products, or can I serve with the nonprofit you serve with? Let's go feed the starving children of America and go do it together. I think that that's transformational because you're building something and you have a relational content that makes a difference on how that transformation will build.
Very good. I like that. Jax, what about you?
I definitely think that transactional is typically more price driven. It's very, what am I getting? What is it costing? Like very cut and dry, right? They don't want to have a relationship there, or maybe at least if it is transactional, there isn't usually going to be a relationship there. It's just going to be that one situation. That's it, right? Transformational, I mean, the goal is different. The goal is to ensure that not only is there a product or service like happening there, but it's actually moving and transforming that person's life, their space. It's touching other aspects. It's a little bit more of a holistic kind of approach, more relational in nature.
I like that. Good answer. Debbie, what about you?
I think everyone really has hit it on the nail, but when I do think transactional, it is to the point of, have you ever gone to a meeting for the first time and the first thing out of someone's mouth is, let me tell you about my product, or and literally I'm just like, okay, this conversation is done with. I mean, I just can't. And so when it's the other one, it's getting to know the person. I could have a conversation with someone, asking questions, get to know them, and they not even know what I do. But at the end, they're finally, okay, you've asked all these questions about helping me. How can I help you? And so then that's when I've known I built that relationship, that I don't have to try to sell anything, because now they know that they can, that I'm not going to just vomit on them, basically, with transactions. So that's kind of what I think of it.
Yeah, that's good.
And the Websters.
Yeah, I'll read you the Websters here. The part of this question that I really like is the transformational word, right? So, I mean, that's a pretty powerful word, because transaction, okay, yes, it has a very quick connotation to it, but transformational suggests a journey, right? And it's building those relationships. And, what you said, Christina, about partnering with people to do things that are above and beyond or outside of your business. It's like it's taking it to the next level, transforming. So that's my thoughts on it. And I really love that word, transformational. So here's the Webster's dictionary answer to the question of what's the difference between transactional relationships and transformational relationships. So the answer: transactional relationships are based on exchanges of value where each party seeks to benefit from the interaction. Transformational relationships are built on trust, mutual growth, and a shared commitment to each other's success. So I think that answer sums up exactly what you guys hit on here in the discussion. And I think with your two businesses, for our guests, that transformational piece is super important to your business. It's important to all of ours, frankly, but certainly when you're forming a community of multiple different businesses, it doesn't come down to a transaction. It comes down to that relationship and being transformational together. So good answers. And it's a good group of business owners to ask that question too. So thank you for your participation. Excuse me. Your participation in What's the Difference. So that will wrap up the segment. But what I do want to do before we wrap the show is give the opportunity for our guests to again, remind the audience who you are, what you do, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So, Christina, I'll let you go first.
Okay, well, I'm Global Women's Empire, and we have 7 cities, so feel free to join any of them. We got McKinney, Allen, Fairview, Plano, Frisco, and Prosper Salina.
Awesome. And what is your key takeaway that you got out of the show today?
Oh my gosh, that there's a lot more me's out there that I just want to connect with and love up on and get connected, because I love that. And I love all y'all. I mean, made my heart feel really good today. So thank you.
Well, I agree with that. It was great meeting you guys today. We were joking in the show chat over here that nobody else can see but us. So we said we needed a group hug. So consider this a group hug.
Yeah.
Hugs.
All right, Judy, remind the audience who you are, what you do.
So I'm Judy Chung-Ferriss. I'm a realtor. I've been in the real estate industry since the early 2000s, so very long time. I still sell in San Diego. I'm with Big Block Realty there. And here in Texas, I'm with Monument Realty. And that is me.
All right. Well, thanks for recapping that. And what is your key takeaway from today's show?
My key takeaway is I am not the only one with an inspirational story. I think as entrepreneurs, and Brian, I know you're a male, but the rest of us are female. As female entrepreneurs, there's something special about us. I feel like a lot of times we don't know our strengths until we are forced to show them. And through Christina's story, and I'd love to hear, Jax, what your why was, and through what Debbie's gone through, she and I have already gotten to know each other. There's a strength in all of us. And I love that we share all that together.
Well, I love that. And, Christina, I think it was you who mentioned that you were the COO of, whatever company you were working for at the time. Being a single mom, or being a mom in general, is kind of like being a COO of a family.
Yeah,
so
right.
I can appreciate that
For
from
sure.
all your perspectives. Thank you again for sharing your perspectives today and sharing your story with the audience. We appreciate it here on The Difference, and I'm sure the audience does as well. With that, guys, we are up against it. It's amazing how quickly an hour and 15 minutes flies by. So thank you for being on the show today. Jax and Debbie, thank you again for co-hosting with me. It's always a fun ride with you guys. And Lyndon in the background, thank you for producing another great show. Appreciate all the leadership that you provide to the Community Difference. With that, guys, this is a wrap on episode 44 of the Community Difference. Lots to do out there in Frisco this weekend. You heard it earlier. Get out there, enjoy the weather, the nice temperate weather while we have it. Have a happy, safe, fun weekend, and we will see you back here. Not next week. We've got an off week, but after that in November. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska with Real Property Management Focus, Paul Fisher with Certainty Home Lending, Bethany Rowland with the Beer Rowland Realty Group, Tracy Churchman with Best Buddies, Jacqueline Crider with PBJ Mortgage, Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers, Ethan Donovan with the Donovan Creative Agency, and by Meena Singh, college counselor and prep coach. The Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference.